Teens are affected by many things, specifically prejudice. When people see a group of teens at a store or on skateboards, they assume that they are up to no good. Adults assume teens have no motivation and simply do not care about their communities and their future. As evidence of this project, teens do care, and we are striving to help people who we can relate to. Teens are almost like a society within itself. We're all communicating through social media, sharing our opinions, creating communities, and expressing our emotions. Teens support each other. Most people this day and age are really friendly with each other, and that makes it a lot easier to relate to teens. We have achieved every one of our 4 different goals. Our first goal was to work with the students at Chula Vista High School and give them classes about substance abuse. We did that and successfully got every teen to implement something they learned from the class into their daily lives moving forward. Our second goal was to make a 5 to 10 minute documentary about our project, and we achieved this one too. We made a documentary where we described and displayed what we did in each of the human-centered design phases: empathize, define, ideate, and prototype. Our third goal was to gather the data from the liquor stores and compile it all into a presentation to present to Chula Vista City Council. We did that, and we just presented the data and our project to City Council a couple weeks ago. Our fourth and final goal was to create a social media campaign on Instagram and reach over 90 followers. After 8 weeks of the Instagram account being active, we reached 109 followers. Overall, we were pretty successful and achieved our goals. The only goal we had to modify over time was our documentary. As the project went on and got more stressful, we didn't have enough time to put together our own documentary, and the documentaries we were making in class fit the description, so they took place in our own documentary. At our final class, we gave out a post survey for students to fill out. We asked students what they were going to do moving forward with drugs. 15 students said that they would teach others about the effects of drugs. 3 students said that they will stop their drug habits. 2 students said that they will stop their alcohol habits. Also, 14 students said that they will start teaching their family and friends about the dangers of drugs and alcohol. 6 students said that they plan to start a club at their school to educate others about the dangers of substance abuse and alcohol abuse. 6 students also plan to volunteer at South Bay for Change, as we did, moving forward. Successfully, no students said that they were not going to plan to implement anything into their lives. All this signifies that our class was very successful. Having over 5 students quit a drug and alcohol habit, their drug and alcohol project, I have learned how to actually make change in my community. I have learned how to analyze situations and find where the most help is needed. I learned to identify needs and how to cater to them. These are things that I will use throughout my life, and there are issues that I want to help solve, and before this, I didn't know how to help. I'll now be able to get more involved and find out what needs need to be addressed. I personally am interested in helping end ocean pollution, so the sea is a place for everyone to enjoy. I can use what I learned in Faces of Change and apply that to what I want to do in my life and in my future. This project has also taught me how important and beneficial it is to be involved with your community. The things I learned in this project will help me throughout my life, and are things that are infinitely design at its core means to work with and not for, and to cater to the needs of your clients. The first phase is the empathize phase, which was not hard for us because we see the issues that teens face on a daily basis through social media. The second phase was the define phase, where we defined the need for teens, which was, for us, drug and substance abuse. We then began creating our ideas into things that we could use in our project. This was the ideate phase. We then began the prototype phase. In the prototype phase, we taught classes about the risks of drugs and alcohol for the course of 2 months and put together a presentation of our overall project to present to Chula Vista City Council. The final phase is the test phase. In the test phase, we finalized the data from the prototype phase to see if we made a change in our community. One of the 6 mindsets for a human-centered designer was to learn from failure. I believe our group embodied this by remembering things that did not work in our classes and avoiding them in future classes.